You know, I was just here thinking about something. Have you ever been in a conversation, maybe even a heated argument, and you just stopped talking? Not because you were angry, not because you were defeated, but because you just chose to. And in that space you created, that sudden vacuum of silence, you felt the entire dynamic of the room shift. It's like the air gets thick. The other person, who was just on a roll, suddenly falters. They get uncomfortable. They start talking faster, trying to fill the void you've created. They look at you, trying to read you, trying to pull a reaction, any reaction, out of you. And in that moment, you realize something profound. You are in complete control. Not because you shouted louder, but because you did the one thing they never expected. You went silent. This isn't just a party trick. This is a fundamental law of power that most of us have been taught to ignore. We've been conditioned to believe that power is loud, that it's about having the last word, winning the argument, proving your point. But what if I told you that true power, the kind that can't be taken from you, is silent? What if the most dominant force in any interaction is the person who has mastered the art of saying nothing at all? Therefore, you've been playing the game all wrong. You've been fighting with swords when you could have been winning with silence. This is a dangerous idea, because it goes against everything we've been taught about being nice, about being mature, about keeping the peace. We've been sold a lie. The lie that swallowing your anger, conceding in arguments and avoiding conflict at all costs is a sign of wisdom, that your silence is a virtue. But what if that silence isn't wisdom? What if it's just disguised submission? What if your peace is just your domesticated surrender? The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche saw this with brutal, terrifying clarity. He understood that what we often call morality or goodness is just a value system created by the weak to protect themselves from the strong. It's the morality of the herd, the morality of resignation. It's an invisible code that teaches you to shrink, to conform, to nullify yourself, and to feel virtuous for doing it. You've been trained to be a sheep and to be proud of your wool. And people take advantage of it. They know you're calm. They know you'll listen. They know you'll overlook their transgressions to avoid a confrontation. So they push their ideas, they impose their will, they occupy your space, and you let them. You tell yourself it's not worth the fight, that it's better to maintain harmony. But the truth is, you are paying for this false peace with the currency of your own soul. And the worst part, you are being used by the very people who understand that you will never, ever react. Therefore, you are not a participant in your life. You are a spectator in your own submission. When you accept this kind of silence, the kind that eat you up from the inside, you are handing over your power. You are being shaped by the expectations of others. You are no longer yourself. You are what they need you to be. And this is the absolute opposite of what Nietzsche called the will to power. Because the true will to power isn't about dominating others. It's about dominating yourself. It's about reclaiming control of your own narrative. It's about being silent not because you are afraid, but because you owe no one an explanation for your own existence. This silence of submission needs to die. And in its place, the silence of presence must be born. The silence that doesn't bend, that doesn't apologize, that doesn't shrink. The silence that stands firm in the middle of chaos and without a single word changes the entire game. This is the silence that Nietzsche would respect. The silence of the individual who has become the master of themselves. But how do you get there? How do you go from being a pawn to being the player? How do you kill the herd morality inside you and become someone who commands authority even in silence? The answer lies in Nietzsche's most powerful and most misunderstood concept. If you've made it this far, perhaps your soul is searching for more. Start your journey today and visit our growing library of transformative ebooks and audiobooks at wisedaily.org. The link is in the pinned comment below. Become the person you were meant to be and awaken your transformation today. About a psychological evolution, a new type of human being who has overcome the petty moralities and limitations of the herd. The Übermensch is not born, it is forged in the fires of self-overcoming. And the primary tool of this forging is the conscious, strategic use of silence. Think about it. The world is a noisy place. Everyone is screaming for attention, desperate to be heard, desperate to be validated. Social media is a constant, shrieking battle for relevance. In this world, the person who can remain silent, who can hold their center amidst the chaos, is the one with the real power. They are the eye of the storm, while everyone else is being tossed around by the winds of opinion and outrage. They are still. And in that stillness, there is an unshakable strength. This is not a passive silence. It is an active, predatory silence. It's the silence of a lion in the tall grass, watching, waiting, observing. It is a silence charged with intention. When you are silent, you are not absent. You are intensely present. You are observing. You are gathering information. You are seeing the insecurities behind the bravado, the fear behind the anger. You are mapping the emotional terrain of the other person while revealing nothing of your own. You are a black hole, and their energy, their words, their desperate attempts to get a reaction all get pulled into your gravitational field and disappear. This is what it means to be the master of your own narrative. As long as you are reacting, you are a character in their story. You are playing the role they have assigned you. The villain, the victim, the fool. The moment you go silent, you exit their stage. You take back the pen. You are no longer a character in their play. You are the playwright of your own, and this is terrifying for them because they have lost their power over you. They have lost their ability to define you. You have become a void, a question mark, and the human mind abhors a vacuum. It will rush to fill it with its own fears, its own insecurities, its own projections. You don't have to defeat them. Their own mind will do it for you. This is why silence is so uncomfortable, not just for them, but for you. It goes against every social instinct we have. The impulse to explain, to justify, to defend. The need to be understood, to be seen as good. To master silence, you must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to be seen as cold, as arrogant, as difficult. You must be willing to let them have their story about you and to be completely, utterly, and gloriously indifferent to it. Your need for your own self-respect must become greater than your need for their approval. This is the first step on the path to becoming the Übermensch. It is the rejection of the herd's validation. It is the declaration of your own sovereignty. You are no longer a sheep, bleating for the approval of the flock. You are a lion, and your silence is your roar. So, how do we weaponize this? How do we go from theory to practice? Because knowledge without action is just a form of cowardice. It's time to stop being a student of power and start being a practitioner. Weapon number one, the pregnant pause. When someone says something provocative, something designed to get a reaction out of you, your instinct is to jump in and defend yourself. Don't. Instead, just hold their gaze. Let the silence hang in the air. Let it stretch. Let it become uncomfortable. This is what I call the pregnant pause. It is pregnant with all the things you are not saying. In that silence, they will unravel. They will start to second guess themselves. They will start to babble, to over-explain, to reveal their own hand. You are doing nothing, and you are winning everything. You are letting their own mind become their enemy. Weapon number 2, the minimal response. Sometimes, complete silence is not an option. In those cases, you use the minimal response, a single word, a nod, a simple, I see, or interesting. You are acknowledging that you heard them, but you are giving them nothing to work with. You are a stone wall, and their words are just bouncing off you. You are not engaging. You are not taking the bait. You are demonstrating with chilling efficiency that they do not have the power to move you. Weapon number 3, the subject change. This is for the emotional vampires, the ones who use you as their personal dumping ground. They call you, and for an hour they complain, they vent, they drain your life force. You have been trained to listen, to be supportive, to offer advice. Stop. The next time they start, let them go for a minute or two. And then, with a calm, neutral tone, you say, that sounds tough. So, have you seen that new movie that just came out? You have just completely derailed their train. You have refused to be their emotional toilet. You are signaling that this is not a one-way street. This is a relationship, and it requires reciprocity. They will either get the message and start treating you like a person, or they will find another toilet. Either way, you win. Weapon number 4, the physical withdrawal. Sometimes words are not enough. Sometimes you need to use your body. You are in a meeting, and someone is dominating the conversation, steamrolling over everyone. You don't have to interrupt them. You can simply lean back in your chair, cross your arms, break eye contact. You are creating a physical space of non-engagement. You are creating a silent protest. It is a subtle but incredibly powerful way of saying, I am not a part of this. I do not endorse this. And other people in the room will feel it. You will become a silent leader, a gravitational center of dissent, without saying a single word. This is not about being passive. This is about being strategic. This is active, intentional, weaponized silence. It is the martial art of the soul. You are using your opponent's own energy against them. You are not fighting. You are flowing. And you are winning. But there's a darker side to this, because up until now, we've been talking about using silence as a tool of power. But what happens when silence is used against you? What happens when you are the one being silenced? When you have been so thoroughly conditioned by the herd that you believe your silence is your only option. This is the most perverse form of control. It's when you have been manipulated into becoming your own jailer. You have been taught that being nice is a virtue, that avoiding conflict is a sign of maturity, that swallowing your anger is a sign of strength. But this is a lie designed to keep you small, to keep you manageable, to keep you silent. This is the morality of the slave, and you have been drinking the poison your whole life. Therefore, you find yourself in situations where you are being disrespected, devalued, and dismissed, and you say nothing. You convince yourself it's not a big deal. You tell yourself you're being the bigger person, but you are not being the bigger person. You are being the smaller person. You are shrinking yourself to make others feel comfortable. You are setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. This is the silence of submission, and it is a cancer. It eats away at your self-respect, your dignity, your very soul. Every time you swallow your truth, every time you let a transgression slide, every time you choose false peace over authentic conflict, you are betraying yourself. You are telling yourself over and over again that your voice does not matter, that your needs do not matter, that you do not matter. Nietzsche would say that living this way is an offense to life itself. It is a rejection of your own will to power. It is a slow, quiet suicide of the spirit. And you have to wake up. You have to see this pattern for what it is, a form of self-abuse that you have been conditioned to call goodness. From this day forward, your silence needs to change its tone. It needs to stop being an apology and start being a boundary. It needs to stop being an escape and start being an affirmation. It needs to stop being the silence of the sheep and start being the silence of the lion. The silence that says, I am here, I am real, I have weight, and I will not be moved. This is the final step. This is the graduation. This is where you stop being a student of the Übermensch and start becoming one. It's where you understand that true silence is not an absence of noise. It is a presence of self. It is the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone because they have finally proven it to themselves. They know who they are. They know what they are worth. And they know what they deserve. Look at your life. How many times have you been silent out of fear, out of guilt, out of a desperate need to not disturb the peace? How many times have you let others speak for you, decide for you, trample over your truth? Enough. It is time to reclaim your silence, to transform it from a weapon used against you into a weapon wielded by you, a weapon of presence, of power, of pure, unapologetic selfhood. This is not a call to become an asshole. It is a call to become an individual, to stop living by the script that the herd has written for you, and to start writing your own. To be silent not because you are afraid, but because you are free. Free from the need for approval. Free from the fear of conflict. Free from the prison of being nice. Do you have the courage for that? The courage to be silent when the world is screaming at you to speak. The courage to be still when the world is trying to pull you into its chaos. The courage to be you in a world that wants you to be everyone else. Because in the end, the weak shout, the strong are silent, but the wise, the truly powerful, they choose. They choose when to speak and when to let their silence say everything. Everything. Let's dissect this even further. Why is your silence so profoundly threatening to others? It's not just that you're not playing the game. It's that you are exposing the game for what it is. A fragile, desperate dance for validation. Most human interaction is not a genuine exchange of ideas or emotions. It is a subconscious negotiation for status. Who is more powerful? Who is more intelligent? Who is more righteous? Who is in control? It is a constant low-grade warfare of the ego. When you speak, you are participating in this war. You are putting your pieces on the board. Your words, your arguments, your justifications, they are all moves in the game. They can be countered, debated, dismissed. They give the other person something to push against, something to react to. You are engaged in a feedback loop, a dance of action and reaction. But when you go silent, you remove your pieces from the board. You refuse to make a move. Therefore, the other person is left playing chess against themselves. Their own ego, their own need for validation, has nothing to push against, and it collapses under its own weight. Your silence is a mirror, and in it, they see not you, but their own desperation, their need to be right, their fear of being ignored, their terror of being irrelevant. You are holding up a mirror to their own psychological nakedness, and it is an unbearable sight. This is why they lash out. They will call you passive-aggressive. They will accuse you of stonewalling. They will try to frame your silence as a form of attack. And in a way, it is. It is an attack on their illusion. It is an attack on the fragile ego construct they have built to navigate the world. You are not attacking them. You are attacking their mask. And people will defend their mask with a ferocity they rarely reserve for their true selves. Because for many, the mask is all they know. This is the deep, uncomfortable truth of social dynamics. We are all just wounded children in adult bodies, desperately seeking the love and validation we never got. And most of our social interactions are just sophisticated strategies for getting that need met. The person who can see this, who can step outside of this desperate game, who can be present without needing anything from the other person, that is the person with the real power. Your silence is a declaration that you are no longer seeking validation from them, that you are self-sourced, that your sense of self is not dependent on their opinion of you. And there is nothing more threatening to a person who is running on the fumes of external validation than someone who is plugged into their own power source. Let's talk more about this herd morality. It is the most insidious form of control ever invented, because it convinces you that your cage is a sanctuary. It's the voice in your head that tells you not to rock the boat. The one that whispers, just let it go, it's not worth it. The one that makes you feel guilty for having needs, for having boundaries, for taking up space. It is the collective, internalized voice of mediocrity. And its only goal is to keep you small, to keep you predictable, to keep you a part of the herd. Because the herd is safe, the herd is comfortable, but the herd is not where you grow. The herd is where you go to die, spiritually speaking. In the workplace, it's the pressure to agree with the consensus, even when you know it's wrong. It's the fear of speaking up in a meeting, of challenging the status quo. It's the quiet acceptance of a toxic culture, because that's just the way things are here. In your family, it's the unspoken rules, the roles you are expected to play, the topics you are not allowed to discuss. It's the way you shrink yourself during holiday dinners to avoid triggering your uncle's political rant or your mother's passive-aggressive comments. In your relationships, it's the way you swallow your own needs to keep your partner happy. The way you avoid difficult conversations because you are terrified of the conflict. The way you say it's fine when it is very, very not fine. This is the herd morality in action. And every time you obey it, you are feeding the beast. You are reinforcing the bars of your own cage. You are choosing comfort over courage. You are choosing safety over selfhood. Nietzsche's Übermensch is the one who has the courage to say, no more. The one who is willing to be cast out of the herd, to be labeled a troublemaker, a heretic, a monster, in the name of their own truth. The one who understands that the price of belonging is often your own soul, and decides that the price is too damn high. This is not a call to anarchy. It is a call to sovereignty. It is a call to become the king or queen of your own inner kingdom, to establish your own laws, your own values, your own code of conduct, based not on the fear-based bleating of the herd, but on the courageous roar of your own heart. And the first law of this new kingdom is this: I shall not betray myself, not for comfort, not for safety, not for love, not for anything. This is the path. It is a lonely path. It is a difficult path, but it is the only path that leads to a life that is truly your own. A life of power, of purpose, of unapologetic, magnificent selfhood. A life worthy of the name. A life that is not just lived, but created moment by moment.